Next, we'll try to figure out which flavor has the most jelly beans. So we'll have to have a couple of variables here. We'll have an int, and that's going to be the current highest amount. Whatever flavor of jelly bean is currently winning, what amount is winning. I'll set that to 0 at the start, so it's guaranteed to be beaten the first time through. And then we'll also need an int, an index of the top flavor. So we need to keep track of, is it for 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the example I have for you, which index is holding the winning amount of jelly beans. So we'll use a regular for loop here because the index does matter. So int x, should have put int x equals 0. Forgot to do that right off the bat. Num of jelly beans dot length, and then increment x by 1. There, we'll take care of the initialization. Forgot to make it equal 0. So as we go through the array, we've got to see if the current element that we're on has more jelly beans than the highest amount, whoever is winning right now. The current highest amount is the winning amount right now. So if the number of jelly beans at index x is greater than the current highest amount, then we have a new first place in jelly bean land. So we've got to make a change then and make current highest amount equal num of jelly beans x, because it's been beaten. So it has to step aside and let the new winning jelly bean take its place. So current highest amount will now equal num of jelly beans at index x, because it just beat current highest amount. We've also got to keep track of where in the array this happens. So we want to keep track of the index where this happened. Right now that's x. So we'll make index of top flavor equal x. When this for loop is all done, current highest amount will have the highest amount of jelly beans that was found, and index of top flavor will have the index or subscript of where that happened. So we will be able to match that up in both arrays. So inside the label, we'll give the user some information about where we found the most jelly beans. Index of top flavor is where we can locate that winning jelly bean in both arrays. So we'll use that as we explain to the users what the flavor with the most jelly beans is. So the names of those flavors are in the array called flavors. So flavors, and in brackets, we'll put index of top flavor. And then if we also want to tell the users how many jelly beans those were, we can use the other array, num of jelly beans, and also refer to its index of top flavor. I'll move that num of jelly beans down so it stays with that bracket. Probably easier to read that way. So let's take a look and see if this actually works out. We'll fill the array up. 10, 20, 30, 40 for lime, and back down to 11 for strawberry. And the most jelly beans is lime. Worked out. We did not take into account that there could have been a tie for that. There is a way we could handle that when we learn some more things in Visual C#. Now, what if we want to edit a flavor? And or the amount of jelly beans. We're just going to edit flavors, and then if you want to deal with the amounts later on, you can. So we'll ask the users for what flavor they would like to change. We'll get that out of an input box. And it's possible the flavor they're asking for is in the array. It's possible it's not in the array. But we'll find out what flavor they want to change, and I'm going to call it flavor to change. So we'll loop through the array and find that flavor, or discover that the flavor isn't there. We'll need to use a regular for loop this time because the index is going to matter. It matters what index we find this flavor at. So I'll set it up with x equal to 0. As long as we're less than the dot length, we're good. And then inside this for loop, we're going to check to see if we can find the flavor they want to change. So if flavor to change dot to lower double equals flavors X, which I should have put dot to lower there and forgot once again. Before this, we're going to need another bool or boolean. I'll call it found the flavor, and by default, I'm going to set it equal to false. I'll assume that they did not find the flavor. It's a flag variable, or like a light switch. We'll flip it to true if we get a match inside this if. So if the flavor they want to change does match a flavor that we find inside this array as we're looping through it, we'll flip the switch or flip the variable to true. Then I'm going to declare another variable here, and I'll discover later on that I should have done it somewhere else. So new flavor equals the result of an input box. We'll ask the users to enter their new flavor. So there's the prompt. For the caption, I'll put enter flavor or new flavor. And then for the third argument, I'll give them a default response, which is flavors X, the current flavor that it already is. Maybe they didn't really want to change it and they can just press OK and the flavor will stay the same because it's already in by default. Otherwise, flavors X, where we are here in the array, is going to equal the new flavor, which is what they typed into the input box. So again, that's if we find their flavor inside the array. If we get all the way through this loop and didn't find it, then we would never give them the chance to even switch it. So outside the loop, if found the flavor is true, then inside the label we will inform the users that the change has been made. And here's where I realized that new flavor doesn't exist outside of the for loop. It was declared on line 143 inside that for loop, and in fact inside that if. Its scope is only good actually inside that if, and we need it out here. So I'm going to go up a little higher and declare a new flavor up there, set it equal to blank quotation marks, set it equal to nothing, and then come down here to line 144 and take away that data type declaration. It's not needed there. So now we can access new flavor outside of the if and outside of the loop, and we can let users know that the change has been made. Use whatever terminology you want. Flavor to change and new flavor will help you out. Otherwise, we're going to tell them that we couldn't find the flavor they wanted to change, and so nothing happened. Again, express that however you want. I should have put a space there before the is. And I would like to change chocolate, but chocolate is not in the Jelly Bean store. There's where I noticed I didn't get the space in. We'll fill the store with jelly beans. And we'll edit, and I'll change chocolate, but chocolate's not in the Jelly Bean store. Now I'll try to change strawberry. And I will change strawberry to raspberry. And again, I'm getting lucky here because I forgot to use .to lower in my if statement. And strawberry has been changed to raspberry. And if you go back to most jelly beans, now raspberry has those 5 jelly beans that were originally assigned to strawberry.